The air in Quang Tin province is thick enough to drink, a humid cocktail of mud, sweat, and fear. September 4th, 1967. A line of young men, helmets slick with rain and grime, push through the towering, indifferent green of the Vietnamese jungle. Sunlight struggles to pierce the dense canopy, dappling the forest floor in shifting patterns of light and shadow. A hand, knuckles white, tightens its grip on the stock of an M16 rifle. The only sounds are the squelch of boots in the mud and the frantic drumming of a heart against a ribcage. The world rips apart. From impenetrable trilene, a sudden, violent crackle. The air is alive with invisible hornets, a storm of lead that thrashes leaves from branches and chews at the damp earth. A Marine stumbles, his face a mask of shock, a dark flower blooming on his fatigues. Men dive for cover behind fallen logs, their shouts swallowed by the deafening roar of automatic weapons. In the chaos, one figure moves against the current. He runs not away from the fire, but directly into it. He carries no rifle, no grenades. His only weapon is a small, worn book clutched in his hand. This is Lieutenant Vincent Capodanno, a Navy chaplain attached to the gritty, hardened men of the 3rd Battalion, 5th Marines. He is not a warrior in the traditional sense, yet he has chosen to walk where the warriors walk, to face what they face. We see his face now, not in the fury of combat, but in a quieter moment, just hours before. His eyes are kind, etched with the concern of a man who has seen too much youth staring into the abyss. He shares a canteen with a fresh-faced private from Ohio, the chaplain's plain collar insignia, a stark contrast to the grit and steel surrounding him. He is a man of God in a place that feels God-forsaken. He is their Grunt Padre. Now, that brief peace is a distant memory. The jungle, once a neutral space, has become a finely tuned killing field. Company M is pinned down, caught in a perfectly executed ambush. North Vietnamese soldiers, masters of this terrain, pour a relentless, heavy fire into the American position. A machine gun nest, cleverly concealed, spits tracers that cut through the smoky air like angry red wasps. The Marines fight back with desperate fury, muzzle flashes illuminating their grim, determined faces. Brass casings eject in a glistening arc, falling silent in the mud. Through this maelstrom, Capodanno moves. He scrambles on his hands and knees, low to the ground, a rucksack full of medical supplies bouncing on his back. He reaches the first wounded man, a kid whose leg has been shattered by the high-velocity rounds. The Marine's eyes are wide with panic, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Capodanno's hands are firm as he applies a tourniquet, his voice a steady, calming presence amidst the shrieking symphony of battle. He leans in close, his helmet touching the young man's, whispering a prayer that is both a plea for life and an absolution. A mortar round screams down, a terrifying whistle that ends in a concussive blast just yards away. The world becomes a blur of flying dirt, splintered wood, and hot shrapnel. Without a thought, Capodanno throws his own body over the wounded Marine, absorbing the hail of debris. Dust and smoke settle, revealing him hunched over a living shield. He pushes himself up, checks the man beneath him, and then looks for the next soul in need. He moves on, a phantom of mercy in a landscape of death. He finds another Marine, this one gravely wounded, his life fading with each shallow breath. There is nothing the medics can do. The man's eyes search the chaplain's face, looking for an answer, for comfort. Capodanno kneels in the mud, ignoring the bullets that snap past his head. He places a hand on the dying man's forehead and begins the last rites. The sacred, ancient words are spoken into the hellish noise, a final, defiant act of faith. For a single, eternal moment, the filth and horror of the battlefield become a cathedral. He is hit. A piece of shrapnel from another explosion tears into his right arm. Pain, sharp and electric, shoots through him. Blood soaks the sleeve of his uniform, dripping from his fingertips. A Navy corpsman, himself covered in mud and blood, rushes to his side, field dressing in hand. Capodanno waves him off. He points to another fallen Marine. "Them first," his gesture says. He refuses evacuation, refuses to leave the field while his men are still in danger. He wraps a crude bandage around his own wound and continues his work. His eyes scan the chaotic scene. He sees a sergeant, hit in the leg, trying to drag himself to cover. He scrambles to the man's side, helping him back towards the relative safety of the company's command post. He sees another Marine, paralyzed by fear, frozen behind a too small tree. Capodanno crouches beside him, speaks to him, his hand on the man's shoulder, breaking the spell of terror until the Marine begins to fire his weapon once more. He is more than a chaplain. He is a lifeline, a focal point of courage that inspires men to keep fighting, to keep living. The battle rages on, an endless, brutal grind. The air is thick with the metallic smell of blood and cordite. The machine gun nest continues its deadly work, pinning down a platoon, preventing the wounded from being retrieved. Capodanno spots a corpseman, shot and bleeding, lying in the open. Just a few feet from the corpseman is another wounded Marine, desperately calling for a medic. They are both trapped in the gun's deadly arc. No one can get to them. A decision is made in an instant. A choice born not of orders, but of profound, unwavering love for his men. Lieutenant Vincent Capodanno begins to run. He leaves the scant cover he had, his legs pumping through the thick, sucking mud, directly into the open kill zone. For a moment, he is the only thing moving on the battlefield, a solitary figure charging towards certain death. The world seems to slow down. We see the determination etched on his face, his eyes fixed on the man he intends to save. He reaches the wounded Marine, skidding to a halt beside him. He immediately begins to administer aid, his wounded arm protesting with every movement. He feels the thud of bullets striking the ground around him, kicking up spouts of mud. He consciously, deliberately positions his own body, shielding the helpless man from the relentless stream of fire coming from the enemy machine gun. He is a wall of flesh and bone against a storm of steel. The gunner in the enemy bunker sees him. The barrel of the weapon traverses, locking onto the chaplain. From a dark slit in the earth, a burst of fire erupts. A torrent of lead, aimed directly at the man with the cross on his helmet. 27 times, the world tears into him. A final, brutal burst from a hidden machine gun. His body absorbs the impact, a final, defiant shield for the man behind him. He collapses over the Marine he was protecting, his mission complete. For a moment, there is a stunned silence, then a wave of vengeful fury from the Marines who witnessed his sacrifice. They unleash a storm of fire on the machine gun nest, silencing it forever. As the last echoes of the battle fade, an unnatural quiet descends upon the jungle. The smoke begins to clear, revealing a scene of utter devastation. The living, exhausted and hollow-eyed, slowly rise from the mud. They find their chaplain. They find the man he saved, still alive beneath him. Lieutenant Vincent Capodanno, the Grunt Padre, lies dead, his body a testament to a love that knows no bounds, a faith that fears no evil. He had walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and he had not faltered. Tell me your favorite war story I should talk about next. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video.